How on earth did I go from being a broke, video game playing, local dishwasher, attending university with no special skill set, no special upbringing or talent, to now living in a penthouse, doing multi-six figures across different agencies, traveling to wherever and whenever I want to, buying items I couldn't even dare of looking at the price tag of before. And to be honest, it feels surreal, and I want to share this with everyone that's watching to let you know that this is possible for pretty much anyone, because like I told you, I didn't have any special skill set to begin with, and it all quite honestly went pretty fast. Looking back at it, I'm going to show you the mistakes I made, how you can avoid those. And again, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter what your skill level is at this point or what you're planning on doing, or maybe you have no idea at all, you can do this too. And to be honest, now is the best time to do it. So allow me to take you way back. I was born and raised in the Netherlands by a single parent, and I really didn't have much to complain growing up. I knew we weren't that wealthy. I didn't get the latest toys, but I got whatever I wanted in terms of whatever I needed. With that being said, fast forward, I quickly started noticing that college was an absolute primary thing in our household. Getting good grades and making sure you're at the top of the class were things that were expected from the get-go, which, to be honest, I couldn't agree more. You do want to strive for being the best, and mediocrity was not accepted. Looking back, I realized that instilled in me the drive to always exceed and never settle for less. At the time, I thought that was very annoying and thinking, why couldn't you just be happy about the grade I got? But now I understand that it's a man-eat-man world out there, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and only the best will survive. If you become complacent, you'll settle for less rather quickly. With that being said, I grew up, and now all of a sudden I came in a point in time where I started becoming more and more independent. I had to pay for my own stuff, my own bills, and whilst attending university, we all know that's not the most inexpensive experience. I had to pick up a job as a local dishwasher. Now, this was one of my first real jobs alongside being a telemarketer, which I didn't last for really long because I absolutely hated cold calling people and then selling them some kind of new phone service. The dishwashing thing was the realest job and the longest job I ever held, and this is what a typical day looked like. Now I remember this as if it was yesterday. I would come in and there was already a pile of dishes waiting for me to get cleaned, soaking with food and nasty. People ate off it and they left leftovers for me to clean. By the end of my shift, which was quite the amount of hours, I would be soaking wet because the power of that hose was that strong. I was dripping in water, and I would walk back home soaking wet, freezing cold, and then expected to get back in the next day, absolute minimum wage, and doing it all over again. And at the same time, I was attending university, of course, trying my best at my studies there, and also I sought my escape in playing video games like League of Legends, RuneScape, and Counter-Strike even, or any other video game that involved dominating another player on that same game. That was my life, and I was living life on absolute and complete autopilot because I just figured it will resolve on its own at the end of the journey somehow. I didn't even think about the future or what necessary steps I would take later on or where I wanted to go. I was just doing what I thought I was supposed to do, not taking any necessary action to take destiny into my own hands or making any significant changes. There was one specific point where all of this changed overnight. So there I was, living life on complete autopilot. And I remember I was putting on my gloves, ready to head over to another day at the dishwashing job. And the head chef called me. And he never usually calls me before I come into work. Either way, I picked up and said, hey, I'm on my way. And what he told me next changed the entire trajectory of my life moving forward. And here's what he told me. I said, hey, Raheem, don't bother coming in today. As a matter of fact, don't bother coming in at all anymore. We're bringing in a new chef, and he's bringing in his own people, and he's making a clean slate. Anyone that's expendable, he's getting rid of, and unfortunately, that is you too. I was shocked, panicked, not knowing how to reply, and almost got into an argument about how can you do this to me. And I tried to salvage by saying, I can do any other job. I can come and clean. I can do whatever they do in the cold kitchen. I saw how they prepare food. I can do that too. And I went into an argument, but it was clear. He said, you're no longer needed. Don't bother coming in. Goodbye. At this point, you need to understand I was a university student. Quite expensive already. I had to pay for college books or university books. And at the same time, I was living on my own. I had rent to pay and I was already behind on that. I had quite the amount of bills, but I was just able to pay enough that it didn't become that much of a problem and the debt collectors would stay away. Now that I didn't have that additional income from my dishwashing job anymore, everything would go down south. And I didn't know how to solve the problem. As a dishwasher, you're easily expendable. It doesn't require a special skill. Although I like to say I did make the plates extremely clean. What I did next changed my life. And at this point in time, you need to understand that entrepreneurship wasn't that sexy. It wasn't even that well known and wasn't even accessible to the average person. It's safe to say it was time for a change. With my back against the wall, desperately, I picked up my laptop. And for the first time ever, I was going to use it in a way I'd never used it in before. You see, before that, I mainly used it to escape reality, play video games, watch movies, watch funny videos, nothing that would benefit me. I was about to use it in a very productive way, hoping it would solve my problems. I went to Google and typed in the exact phrase in the exact order, how to make money online. The results you would find back then are completely and utterly different from what you would find today. I mainly found on number 1, real estate, which for obvious reasons I couldn't do. Number 2 was completing online surveys and getting a couple of cents for each survey, which I tried and I never got to the amount I could cash out because you would only get 10 cents per survey and you would have to do hundreds of them until you could collect your money. Last but not least, I found trading and investing into stocks. Now, this was something that still to this day I'm actually quite interested in, and I even opened up a demo account and started to learn how to trade, hoping that would solve my problems, but I still needed something more immediate. Now, this kept going on for a couple of days and I was more and more getting into problems with the debt collectors getting closer and closer to knocking on my door. Now, everything changed when all of a sudden, one day I went to school and I heard my classmates talking about gold, making money, and investing. Those were the 3 things I picked up. This sounded like music to my ears because I needed money and gold sounded like wealth, and I was all about investing at that point in time and learning about it. So I approached them and said, hey, what are you guys talking about? What is this? How can I be a part of it? Long story short, they introduced me to a whole new concept, which back then was multi-level marketing. Meaning you would get into a company, this company specifically was all about gold and getting people to buy gold, and you would get paid for recruiting other people to invest in gold, and those people would recruit other people and convince them to invest in gold, and that went on, and you would get paid residual commissions. This sounded interesting and I was intrigued, and I saw this as a potential way out. I paid $500 of my student loan money and went all in, hoping this was my saving grace. Here's what happened next. So there I was, receiving my official welcome pack, including 1 gram of 99.9% pure gold. It's crazy how I still have this card to this day. And I now was officially eligible to recruit other people that were as crazy enough, as ambitious enough, or maybe even as desperate enough as me to be able to do the same thing, and therefore I would get a commission, of course. The only problem was, this was the hardest thing I ever tried in my life back then. Mainly because I didn't want to take the normal route that they told me to take, which is normally you would call up your warm market, your friends and family, relative, close people, invite them over to your home, have them watch a video that the company provided you that would convince them to do the same thing as you, or you would send over that video to friends and family and it would again convince them to do the same thing as you, and therefore I would earn money. I didn't like that idea, mainly because I think I was ashamed back then of telling people of what I was doing, afraid people would look at me different, look at me as being desperate or chasing a mirage. I didn't feel comfortable, and I had a new master plan. I was going to recruit other people that I didn't know by marketing myself online. And with the results I would then get, I would go back to my warm market, now more confident, and tell them, hey, look at how much money I made. I would recommend all of you to do this as well so we can all win. This was my master plan, only the big problem was I didn't know how to market myself. I never learned or had any skill set that was close or remotely close to marketing at all. Luckily, this thing came with a upline. An upline is a person or a group of people that are there to ask questions to and that should help you to be able to be successful in the company. I never made money with this, but at the same time, it made me more money than ever, and here's why. My upline introduced me to something called personal development. It didn't take long before I became an absolute self-help junkie. I'm quite a logical person. I don't like the meditation, the woohoo stuff. I just like action and results. But I have to admit, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I started reading books from Tony Robbins, watched his seminars. I started learning more about Jim Rohn, Les Brown, the old school motivational speakers. I picked up a journal. I wrote in it every morning. I started taking cold showers. I did 5-minute visualization practices. And even though all of that didn't directly make me money, it helped me become more disciplined, more focused, more serious. It helped me stay away from distractions. It helped me remember why, and it helped me become a better person overall. And I kind of liked it. I still didn't make any money, but that new discipline, that new way of thinking, that positive energy that was now instilled in me really took me to a whole new level of confidence, of work ethic, that I can now take on any business venture, and I felt that there was no way that I could fail. Specifically, one video I watched, and I do want to address this, that really to this day drove me to become the absolute and best version of myself, was a video by a man named Eric Thomas. Now here's, long story short, what the video said. All right, story time. It's one of my favorite stories that to this day, it fueled me, gave me all the motivation and energy to become the absolute best version of myself, and I hope it would do the same for you. So, I'll keep it short. The story went as follows. There was a young person that wanted to be extremely successful, and there was a guru. Now, obviously, I could relate to that young person. And the young person stepped to the guru and said, hey, I heard you were the go-to person to learn how to become successful in life, and that is what I want. The guru said, fine, if you really want that, meet me at the beach tomorrow. The young guy, being completely confused, why the hell would we meet at the beach? At the same time, he didn't want to question him, as after all, he was the guru and master in wealth and success in life. So the next day, he showed up at the beach, and when he was there, he said, all right, great, you made it, now step into the water. Again, the young man being confused, why the hell would we step into the water? I brought formal attire. I didn't know we would go swimming. Now, again, he didn't want to question him. After all, he was the guru of wealth and success in life. So he stepped into the water about ankle deep, and the guru said, go a little bit further. And he went ahead to knee deep. And now the guru said, go a little bit further. And that kept going on and on and on until at some point, he was about neck deep, and he was just sick and tired of this. It was like, what the hell is going on here? This is just a scam. This is not right. You were going to teach me how to become successful. What's going on? And just as he was about to quit and step out, the guru stepped in and took his head and shoved it under the water. This is where it becomes interesting. He held it under the water just until the point that he was about to pass out. And just before he passed out, he pulled him back out. And the young man, being completely confused, angry, infuriated, and the guru asked him, when you were underwater, what was the only thing you wanted? The young man answered, I wanted to breathe. And the guru said, it isn't until you want success as bad as you want to breathe. That's when you're going to be successful. When he was underwater, he didn't care about any party, about what's on TV, the latest drama, the latest shade. All he wanted was a breath of fresh air. That's the only thing, and he couldn't care less about anything else. And I watched that video over and over and over again. It fueled me, it motivated me, it made me understand that if I truly want this, I can't just say I want it, I need to want it bad. And with that new instilled energy, I decided to take on a path of saying, all right, if I want to learn how to market, if I want to understand how to get other people and convince them to get a product that I'm a fan of or a part of, I would have to understand the art of lead generation, the art of traffic generation. As I went, I learned to set up a blog, landing pages, I learned lead magnets, I learned how to do funnels, website, tech things. I learned so much, and yeah, I never really made money with the particular company and the recruiting thing, and quite honestly, it's not a business model for me. Yeah, I never really got anyone to convert or got a sale, but I started to understand the power of marketing and how it was supposed to be executed to people that had never heard of you before. Now, with that newly instilled skill and energy, I liked it. And I started going more in depth into the art of lead generation, into the art of traffic generation. And I found a new business model called affiliate marketing. Now, affiliate marketing is super simple, and it's kind of a spin-off of MLM, you could say, but it's not the whole recruiting thing. It's just, you have a product, let's say a remote control, and you would recommend that product to someone else, and if they would buy it because of your recommendation, you would get a commission. And I understood really quickly that affiliate marketing is actually something we do our entire lives. We recommend movies, we recommend restaurants, we recommend dentists. My guy's the best, or you should go and see this person, or I just ate or watched this movie or watch that show, it's incredible. We recommend people to other things that we like all the time, only there's no monetary transaction involved for our end. If I send someone to the cinema telling them, hey, you should absolutely go and watch that movie, the cinema makes money because of me. I don't get any kickback. I liked affiliate marketing, and lo and behold, it was the very first business model. I made a whopping $48 and I believe 50 cents in total doing affiliate marketing, recommending a digital product online. And that proved to me that it is real, that it is possible, and the whole new world became even bigger than it already was. So there I was, completely ecstatic. I clicked the refresh button on my commission dashboard. I see in green where I used to see 00, I now for the very first time see $48 dot something cent. Oh my days, I finally did it. I'm a millionaire, I'm a money printer, I'm a wizard. I did this out of thin air. And I remember the person I was with, even she was on the phone and it was clear daylight, and I clicked refresh and I was in the living room jumping up and down. It was crazy. Like I said earlier on, we made over $10,000 yesterday. I know for a fact tomorrow we're probably gonna make anywhere from 3 to 5K in the early morning. That's money come to be collected. So I know Tuesday we're doing another 10K as well, but still nothing compares to that $48 and some cents. It's crazy. And where it became even realer than it already was is when I went ahead and cashed out and I went to the bank and withdrew that money and held it in my hands for the very first time. I had tangible internet money. Now with that, obviously I couldn't ride that wave for eternity. I needed more. So I reverse engineered what I did. And I came to find out I did it in a very unconventional way. Still to this day, a lot of people don't know how to do it in a way I did it back then, and we still use this to this date for ourselves and our clients. You see, back then, the main way to generate leads and sales, and you could argue today, even though organic marketing now is more of a trending thing, organic marketing wasn't a thing at all. You would either run Bing ads, Yahoo ads, Facebook ads, and maybe YouTube ads, which quite honestly barely happened. TikTok didn't even exist. Instagram was in its infancy. You couldn't even upload videos back then, as well as Facebook was in its infancy. It was super underdeveloped, nowhere near what it is today. Yet, I was able to generate sales continuously, and a lot of them through Facebook. And the way I did it was not common. Organic marketing wasn't even a term. It was considered free traffic. Facebook I mainly used, which was my weapon of choice. That's the only platform I knew how to use. I had to figure out ways and be smart, and with my back against the wall, understand how can I put my offers on Facebook without paying ads and get it in front of the right person, without spamming, without posting tons of things in groups. How can I put the right offer in front of the right people over and over again and get a lot of hands raised and a lot of engagement? And I figured it out. And there are certain ways in settings back then, 2015, 2016, I understood different ways how to segment my Facebook in a way where I could post anything, get it in front of the exact right eyeballs, without sacrificing reach, without being very time consuming, but quickly making sure I get a lot of engagement, maximum reach, and not bothering any of my friends and family on that same platform with that stuff. As a matter of fact, they couldn't even see it. It didn't take long before people started asking me, how the hell do you do it? I see you're making money online. How can I leverage your methods to build my email list, to generate my own leads, to sell my own products and services, or maybe become an affiliate myself? That's when a whole new world opened up, and that's the world of course creation. I decided to record my screen and reverse engineer the process and create a little course, a video module. And it only made sense because I bought a lot of courses over time, so I kind of saw how they laid out. And at the same time, it required me to learn a whole new art and skill set, which is the art of product launching, which comes with its own challenges, its own tech skills, that again allowed me to become even more of a valuable entrepreneur. So I went into the course launching space. I launched several courses over time. I learned how to create a converting sales funnel. I learned sales copy, the AIDA framework, attention, interest, desire, action. I learned the best way to put your sales page in a way of design for highest conversion. I understood the upsell, downsell to increase average order value. It taught me a lot of things, the art of course creation and course selling, and it made me some money as well. What's crazy is before I always was an affiliate promoting other people's courses, trainings, digital products, physical products, but now people wanted to become my affiliate, selling my products for me. So it became full circle, started having my own affiliates, and obviously I marketed it myself as well, and it made money. These platforms were developing rapidly as well. All of a sudden could go live on Facebook. They introduced something called a bio. They had something called highlighted photos, which now you don't have that anymore. It's highlighted reels, but back then it was just a set of photos. And I showed people how you can leverage that to increase your conversions, how to set up your profile to increase your conversions. As the platform was developing, my skill sets became more valuable, and I kept sharpening my axe, and it gave me more juice to create more courses and more trainings as well. Also, groups became a thing, because before groups wasn't really that much of a thing. Now Facebook started to double down on features and groups that you could leverage to create your own tribe and more on your own community. So I kept launching courses, kept launching trainings, how to increase your reach, how to increase engagement, how to market yourself on Facebook. I got a lot of case studies, a lot of success stories. People started generating results. And this opened up a new door where people started approaching me for more of a intimate level of one-on-one coaching, group coaching, instead of just a course. And this opened up again a whole new world, because I came from learning affiliate marketing, learning course creation, to now being a coach. Is a whole skill set on its own. You need to know how to provide the person with the best value, the best action points, how to onboard them, how to communicate them, how to conduct a group coaching session, how to make sure they get the right value, how to make sure they don't waste your time, how to make sure you give them the most of your time. It was a tough thing, right? Because people relying on you as a coach. It was definitely a struggle sometimes, but I learned a lot. And it again developed me, made me more valuable as an entrepreneur. Alongside that journey, I picked up new books, new lessons, and one of the books in 2018 that really changed a lot for me was Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson, which taught me the art of webinars, which then became a primary skill set that made me a lot of money still to this day, because other people started asking, can you do webinars for me as well? Which now took me to a whole new level, which is the done for you side of things. So now that I was making a little bit more decent money, a couple of $1,000s here and there, I had to learn to do something that was extremely difficult for me back then, which I honestly regret not doing anytime sooner as well, which is taking all of that hard-earned money that I put my blood, sweat, and tears in, the same money whenever I looked at it that gave me validation of my success. I had to take that and give it to someone else on the other side of the world in the hopes of them sharing their wisdom with me, that I would be able to make that money back a lot faster, a lot quicker, and preferably a lot more of it. And what I'm talking about here is mentorship. And this is something I would recommend anyone to do. Get a mentor in any area of life for that matter. So I realized that, and I started getting into some high level mentorships. I took the money and spent $10,000 on Digital Millionaire Secrets with Dan Henry. I got things like mentorship with Andrew Cruzy, Bastian Slot, Serge Guattari, a really young, fast-growing entrepreneur, wise as well. Long story short, I didn't just get these mentorships to get the value out of it and the secrets, but also wanted to see how the operation was working from the inside. How did it work? How could they make someone spend so much money and then be satisfied with it from the inside? What kind of value did they provide? What happened after I paid? Did I go on an onboarding call? What was the support like? How did the members area look? How did they make sure their students were getting results? There were a lot of things that I wanted to pick up outside of just the course content or mentorship content itself. And that's something I would recommend anyone to do as well, is don't just look at what they do or what they say, but look at how they do it or how they say it. With that, I understood more about how a higher ticket operation was working from the inside, the way their team was functioning as well. And I brought this back to my company, the Easy Marketing Lab, where the goal is to make marketing easy again. And now, speaking of team, I have two, or at that point, I had two brilliant, they don't know how much I value them. I'm blessed to have these people being part of my core team. They've been with me from, I would say, the start even of really blowing up, which is Derek Jordan, my head coach and chief tech officer. And he's actually so much more than that. And then our amazing and brilliant growth specialist, who's such a fast learner, amazing human being, kind, and is really gets often compliments when speaking to clients, potential clients and leads. understanding really quickly how to make them feel at ease, make them feel comfortable, understanding their pain points and desires. Long story short, they are amazing people and I couldn't have grown as fast without them. But it's funny that especially the head coach of my company for 3 years straight told me, listen, I went through your course, I loved it, there's nobody else in this space teaching it the way you do or explaining this at all. This needs to be shown to more people. You can blow up, you can be the Russell Brunson of this particular segment of the market. Let me help you. And for some reason I said no. I said no. And it wasn't until I went through a lot of masterminds and I started learning how these masterminds were happening and that they had additional coaches, head coaches, support coaches, that I knew I can't do all of this on my own. So I came back to him after 3 years. Throughout those 3 years, we stayed in contact because he kept making the same proposal. Let me be part of the Easy Marketing Lab. And I was foolish for not doing it sooner. Eventually made an amazing deal. He's part of the Easy Marketing Lab now, still to this date, and helps me tremendously in all areas when it comes to client communication, when it comes to technical stuff, when it comes to delivery, as well as our amazing growth specialist who handles all communications with prospective clients, leads, and even people that have questions within our industry, within our business. I couldn't do it without them. After that, after going through another mentorship course, in this case, one of the latest with Serge Guattari, he really doubled down on that particular notion of, I pity the person that has the highest margin. The higher the margin, the more I pity you. Meaning, that means you're doing a lot of the work yourself. You need to have lower margins, meaning you can serve a lot more people because you delegate a lot. You have an outsourcing, you have a team, you have a Rolodex of people you can hit up and serve a lot more people, allowing you to collect a lot more money, allowing you to make a lot more money, even though your margins are a lot less. And he really drilled that down in me where I said, you know what, it's time I go all out, and hired a full-on team. And I already met them several times, great guys, young entrepreneurs. And it's things like this where normally after this YouTube video, I would have to go and edit it myself, and it takes hours and days. I'm not even the best editor. Now, once it's done recording, I'll just send it over to the creative director, which is now part of my team, and boom, he makes a beautiful YouTube video for you to watch. As well as I have a project manager that can go into any client's business and look at all the inefficiencies and help them scale. I mean, it helped us scale tremendously and restructure the entire Easy Marketing Lab company, where we now have different levels to accommodate any single client or any single business, whether a local business or an online business, whether it's an upcoming entrepreneur or an entrepreneur that's already at a really high level. We have an affordable structure to solve anyone's inefficiencies in their business, helping them scale, whether they need help with lead generation, with sales, with client delivery, or whether it's someone that wants to be an entrepreneur but has no idea where to start. We have our free Easy Marketing Lab community. We have our inbound science program, where people that want to get inbound leads like I do, the way I do it, and I've done it for the longest time, where we have people come in within 24 hours, get 600 hands raised on their offer. They never had an audience before. They barely had an offer put together. But with what I showed them, they were able to go out there and create a thriving community of leads, of people that are looking forward to buy from them. If you want pre-nurtured, pre-sold leads, you go into our inbound science program. If you have a way of getting clients because you learned how to do that with us, you can now go to your first 1,000 customers program, which is all about scaling up and making more sales, and preferably also start building a team. After that, we have the done for you agency level, where it's where we come in and actually do everything for you. I deploy my exact team into your business and we solve everything. I'm talking the whole shebang. You exponentially grow like there's no tomorrow. We have an affordable level for every single person. So whether a person comes in and they're already a really high level, meaning they can afford a done for you service. If they're at a level where they're still starting out, their money is really inconsistent from their business or nothing at all, they would either come into the free Easy Marketing Lab community or the inbound science lab. If they're already starting making some sales, or they at least have a list and a solid offer, they just need expansion and sales, they go to the first 1,000 customers program. Now, this structure allowed us to exponentially scale. And this allows us to, just generate a lot of leads because we were able to serve a lot of them because we have such a team right now. So with that, I want you to understand, if there's anything you need to take from this video, it's these things. 1, get a mentor. The insights I got from mentorships are invaluable, and don't just get a mentor again for the course value or the talks, but also the way you got into that mentorship, the way they sold you, the way they treat you on the inside is all things, even if you're in a completely different industry, that you can then go ahead and transfer because it worked on allowing you or getting you to spend X amount of dollars. Second of all, make sure you understand that growth comes or paired with challenges. Embrace challenges, they are growth. So whenever you see obstacles, know that that is room for growth, and it's actually a sign of, hey, you're about to hit a next level. That's something I had to learn and understand. And then last but not least, I want to leave you with is learn the art of organic marketing. It is an invaluable skill. It is what's affording where I'm at right now. I'm living in a freaking penthouse. I'm going to fly. It's all paid through organic marketing. I don't spend any money on ads. That doesn't mean ads are a bad thing. We're probably gonna spend money on ads soon as well, because expansion means paid ads as well. But if you can't sell anything organic, I wouldn't even touch ads. Being able to put an offer in front of the right person organically allows you to look at anything you want to sell, know exactly how to put it in front of someone, allowing you to make money out of thin air, creating communities. It's a skill that is so valuable that doesn't cost any financial aid or any time, even if you know how to do it efficiently. It just requires you to be able to create a framework smartly and deploy it once and just repeat that process. And when you become efficient at it, when you know how it's done, organic marketing is your saving grace for real. So I would recommend anyone to use the power of organic marketing also, because it allows you to get more pre-nurtured, more pre-sold leads, that instead of you chasing people down, trying to convince them to click, trying to convince them to buy, trying to convince them of your offer or service, you're now getting people coming to you saying, can we hop on a call? What's the link? Do you still have spots available? Where can I learn more? How can I reach out to you? You're getting people asking you how they can give you money, which is the power of organic marketing. And I'll end it with this saying, that is, if you chase people, you're just considered another salesperson. But when they chase you, you're considered the expert. I'll leave it with that. And if you want more value, there's plenty more where that came from. Click any of the links below to join our community, subscribe obviously, and I hope you enjoyed this video.